Breeze Nation, what is good? What is good? It's your boy P Kid with my man Stefan the Don. We may have, hold on, he this way, he that way, he that way, he that way. Right. You're
Yeah.
sound totally different when we're not in the studio, but we really appreciate you all rocking with us. As you all know, it may have seen online, our boy Pat is dealing with a personal issue today. Prayers up for him and his father. By the way, father's in surgery, so we wish everyone with on the breeze. We want you all to go and wish him a speedy recovery, and blessings and prayers for that situation there. As you all know, he's been here rocking with you all for the last 4 or 5 years. We want y'all to rock with him. But today, we are getting into, we got to get into the press conference. We got to get into a couple of those things there. We got to get introduced to this new staff who is, if anyone ever said that the Bears are not a, they don't hire minorities. They lied. This is a very minority driven staff. Right? Yeah, we blackity black in this joint. Hold on, but before you, and I appreciate that everybody, Castleberry, Mitch, we appreciate all you all, man. Appreciate all you all. By the way, you got to introduce this guy. They say we run on CP time. I guess that's the earmark of Black History Month here. So I just want everyone to know it wasn't me this time.
Apparently we're running.
Yeah, we switch roles. I'm usually here early. I'm taking over. I'm late.
This guy right here, in fact, he's in timeout until we get off
jail.
Everything else.
Jail.
I ain't messing with him, man. Yeah, definitely, man. But again, we really appreciate you all, man. Please like, share, subscribe. We know a lot of you all rock with us, but a lot of you all don't actually subscribe, yet you watch. So please, it does do nothing. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We put out good content, man.
Do that.
Absolutely. But fellas, we got to get into it, man. The Bears introduced their new staff today. We got some press conference, some quotables, a lot of nothing, maybe a lot of something. We definitely got to figure that part out. I also want to make sure before we get into the main characters, we know Eberflus, Eric Washington, and Shane Waldron. I do want to give a special shout out again to the other additions to the coaching staff: Kerry Joseph, Chris Betty, Thomas Brown, Chad Morton, Robbie Picasso.
Hey, sounds good to me.
It sounds good to me. We're gonna keep that rolling. Jason Hawtellin and legendary Jennifer King. And so I want to make sure that we actually shout that out because unfortunately, when I first joined the Breeze, there was a narrative around Chicago and the minorities, which I never understood. I want you all to see that they've not only made a huge step in diversity and inclusion, but they've done it on both ends. So shout out to the Bears organization for doing that, man.
Yes.
Shout out for them doing that. All right, now let's talk about it. We got a chance to see Matt Eberflus with the new look. My man out there with the beard. My man out there trying to serve looks. He out there trying to be zaddy to somebody. I don't know who.
Hey, bro. It's a new day. Did y'all peep? Not only did the man have a beard, but he had the ice on him too.
That man was out there.
Hey, you got it.
Sam said he looked like a Russian mobster.
He definitely looked like he didn't look like the lame Flus from last season. I mean, he definitely looked like
a new day. New direction, new day, new Flus.
Hey, the Flus was definitely loose today. Hey.
God, it was loose. I like that.
Flus was loose. Same, Roger. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate your super chat. We'll get to that in just a sec. He said, y'all see Justin took the Bears out of his top 8 on MySpace.
Man, whatever. All right, this is troll.
Man.
Get the troll out of here.
All right.
He caught me with it for a second. He caught me. I was like, MySpace? I got to keep that up there for a second. Appreciate your support, man. But no, I want to get you all started. Let's just get down the line. We got to talk about Eberflus. What did you all hear? What did you all like? What happened?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was pretty much along the lines of they have officially been on one accord this entire time. Like I feel like just starting off with the defense. Eric Washington, basically comes in, basically tells them like, hey, Flus already got this defense in place. I ran this defense in multiple places already. Mm-hmm. They've already been top 5 in multiple categories, top 3 in multiple categories. He needs extra help. I'm not here for the title. I'm just helping him make sure that the defense is running and it's fullest potential. And listen, he's got the people to do that. And I think that he feels that if they add a couple more pieces, this defense will be able to rival that of the San Frans, the Eagles, the Chiefs,
Kansas City.
just to name a few. Same thing with really the offense, because I also wanted to touch on what Shane said as well. Going back to my exit notes, which I always have down, the one exit note that he stuck to, which I actually appreciated, was our system is going to be adaptable no matter who the QB is going to be. So that doesn't lend itself more so to Caleb or Justin, but he also did make mention of he wants more explosive plays, more quick plays to get this offense going, because he really thinks that this offense could be top notch. And not so much focus on the player, but the person who's going to be under center for those guys. But they definitely seem to be on one accord.
Absolutely. You know what? You all know how I feel about coaches trying to do too much. But the one thing I will say is Eric Washington definitely did make it clear, like, hey, this defense had synergy. They had, they definitely were rolling in the right direction toward the end of that season. You don't want to mess that up. So he is there to support. And I like the simple fact that realistically, as tough of a position as it is, they definitely, are on one accord, as you mentioned. And so I like the fact that they've already got that out the way. Do I foresee that may be some issues later? It's like I said, it's not personally, it's not a situation I would like. I would want my DC to be able to call the shots, but I mean, we all can agree that Eberflus did a great job with leading that defense last season. So I totally get that. JC, what did you get?
Yeah, man, completely impressed. I was blown away by the presser. I really liked how everyone, like Ringo said, was on the same page. It seemed like there was cohesion. Really impressed with some of the takeaways from Eric Washington. I like the fact that, he understands what his responsibility is. Even though he has that title or label of defensive coordinator, he knows he's not coming in and necessarily taking over the reins of the play calling on game day, but that doesn't take away from his value from this team at all, because on those days where you're practicing, you're training, you're trying to develop these players, that's where he comes in to play and gets his paycheck. I think that I've mentioned this before because I've done a little bit of a deep dive on him. He is militant in a sense, but he's also very approachable with the way that he coaches and mentors his players. So that's something that is big time, and I think that'll work hand in hand with Eberflus. I don't think there's an issue with Eberflus keeping the reins of being defensive, of calling the defensive plays, because he has the track record of being a DC already in Indianapolis. He was successful at the end of this year with the defense getting better and better game by game, especially in the latter part of the season. So, just love the demeanor, love everything that Eric Washington said. And like the chat even said, V-Dog said, Eric has been here before. So, you get some similar faces in the building who kind of know what this culture and this team is about, this organization, what direction they're trying to go in. And it's all positive. One of the funniest things, I don't know if we're trying to break it down separately, but I also wanted to touch on Waldron. But I don't know if you want to kind of get into that.
Go into it. We'll circle back.
Yeah, so Shane, hilarious already. I'm already going to say it. I think he's already ready for the head coaching duties in one aspect, because the man knows how to coach speak. He has a bunch of word salad. He will walk you around the room and not give you anything. They tried to get him a million times on Justin Fields questions. He said, "Oh yeah, we love the skill level of all these people, and no matter who's in the building, we're going to make sure that we build them up and we're going to play to their skill sets." I was like, this man ain't saying a word. Like, they tried so hard to get him to say something, and he was tight-lipped. So you love to see it with that. You love his approach as well.
That man was Neo in the Matrix.
Neo, bro, he was ducking and dodging. I think Pat put a twin.
You almost had me there. Don't worry about that one.
The crazy part is, like, you could tell that Pauls and Eberflus took their time on these hires, though. Like Eberflus said, they went through 14 candidates, and basically for Shane to be as tight-lipped as he was, you could tell this was a guy that Poles definitely keyed in on. He was like, "Yeah, got the cards up to your face. Don't show anything. Just do this.
Yeah,
Just do this.
yeah,
Don't tell them anything." And then, hey,
yeah.
I bet you when he walked back after that presser, he was like, "Yeah,
That's how you do a presser. From now on, that's how you do a presser. They definitely doing it. And you know what the funny thing is? I actually appreciate the reporters. The reporters actually tried to find very creative ways to get as much out of that situation as possible, but they did so in a very tasteful way. And I got to be honest with you, like the way they structured those questions, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. Like I felt like, okay, that's what I need to be doing next time I get an opportunity, right? So like I like the professionalism they had with that one because they didn't let them off the hook. They actually asked the tough questions. No one shied away from actually asking the tough questions. They just, again, hats off to them for actually trying to put their feet to the fire and try to get something out of it, and hats off to the staff for actually sticking to their guns and rolling with it. And so I was really impressed from that aspect. Let me ask you all this: now that how did you all feel? I think I put this in our group chat. Everyone structured their question around a college quarterback or some college quarterback. They never necessarily, only a few people directly said Caleb, which I've always said, and you all know, I'm not the biggest Caleb fan. Y'all know if we're gonna choose a QB, I'm not choosing Caleb personally. He's not my first pick. How did you all feel about that? And ultimately, how did you feel about how Shane initially answered it? Because they almost caught him. First one, they almost caught him. So how did y'all feel about that?
I mean, I was cool with it. I mean, it's been par for the course. I mean, like they've done, at the exit meeting again. Just bringing it up. They said they were going to do their due diligence. So I mean, it's par for the course for him to say like, "Hey, we're not gonna key in on this one guy." I mean, and shout out to Joe. He's not here right now. He always says like, "Hey, there's not just one Heisman winner in this draft. You got two Heisman winners in this draft." So, I mean, they're definitely going to do their due diligence. And listen, whoever's going to be behind the center, like Wadron said again, like Poe said in his exit presser, they're going to adapt to who the QB is. So, I mean, I wasn't totally mad at it. And listen, they're going to keep their cards as close to the vest as possible. And we're probably not going to figure out who they're getting until probably maybe after the combine or pro day. I really don't know. I know we're gonna get into that though, so I'm gonna say my thoughts.
Definitely about to get into that one. I will say, just to piggyback off of the comment that Shane actually mentioned when asked about Geno Smith, which I thought was a really good question. They kind of angled it in a way to try to see if he can get the same out of Justin. That was the angle of the question. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And I liked his answer with it. I like the fact that one key thing he said about Geno, which I think we really get a lot of with Justin, and which is why we really love and will want him here, is that he said he always had the mentality of, I'm a starting quarterback. And that is key, because you got to understand Geno had been a backup for years at that point, but he had always felt like he was a starting quarterback. And that mentality gives you a lot to work with. A player that believes in himself and believes in his ability, you can go a long way with that. And so Geno had that, and he was able to do something with it within his scheme. And I love that. Coming into this situation again, they've played their cards close to their chest, and we're not going to speculate on that much more. But I think we all feel that Justin feels like he can be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. He is a starting quarterback here, and so that mentality in itself is one, why he's the culture and he has the heart of Chicago, realistically, and two, even if they do move off of you want someone who has that moxie and that mentality. I don't know why moxie was the word that came up, but like
we got what you were saying.
You want that mentality, and so whatever decision we make, and frankly, I am actually leaning more toward keeping Justin more than people think. Simply because I can really.
Calvin should have been on the pod today.
You say what?
I said Calvin should have been here to hear that.
Oh, Calvin's gonna love that. Calvin's gonna really love that. Hey, I don't know why people think I don't like Justin. Like I do. Like
you keep everything open. You keep all doors open to the possibilities.
I mean,
people think that you hate Justin.
I got to. Like, realistically, if I was the only person, if the whole crew was like, we gotta keep dressing, it was like it wouldn't be much of a show. So, but with that being said, well, that's actually a perfect segue into the next part. Right now, we are in JC, host of the Chicago Bears Breeze, put out a very interesting video talking about the QB decision in the reports of that decision being made around the combine. JC, tell us a little bit more about that. Introduce it to us.
Yeah. So yesterday, Mike Florio was on the Rich Eisen show, and they had an interesting conversation that kind of was centered around. He brought up Mike Florio, that being brought up an article that Albert Breer had come out with this past week on the Bears are possibly finalizing their decision at quarterback. But the interesting thing is the timeline. He says they could be doing that ahead of the scouting combine next week. And so the reason why that's interesting is because if that sheds some light into any direction that they're going to go, his question is, well, why would they do that if they're not going to keep Justin Fields? Because if you're getting to the point where you're just now evaluating all of these prospects in the draft and you're doing your due diligence to, check out their measurables, whatever, the 40, all these things, and then also the interviews, getting them in a conversation, seeing what their mentality is like, whether it be Caleb or anybody else, then why would you already finalize that decision beforehand? So maybe that's a little bit of a tick in the Justin Fields camp. Again, it's speculation, but it's interesting that a lot of these credible people are starting to speak on that and saying that this could indicate that Ryan Poles may trade that topic again, because again, going back to last year, you saw him do that around the same time, getting back a great haul with DJ Moore and all the other picks that were extremely valuable. And so maybe his decision is to go that same route again. We'll see. But I just found it interesting that they touched on that, and the fact that, when you're looking at any of these prospects, obviously we know this from year to year, no matter if you call somebody a generational prospect, no matter if they're supposed to be the number one pick in the draft, you still don't know what they're going to do because they haven't played at the NFL level yet. They haven't taken a snap. And so you never know. Injuries could happen. The people we look at examples that busted in the past. Pause. Like Jamarcus Russell. I tried to go a whole show without one, and I messed it up.
I appreciate y'all finally catching on and
what we.
Hey, shout out to Mitch, by the
just
way.
letting them fly and not saying nothing. Like, we gonna speed past that, y'all.
A shout out to Mitch, by the way. He said prayers to Pat and fam. Would love to see y'all chop it up with Adam Mason. I would love to chop it up with him as well. He's got great stats on the JF1 narratives. What is one underrated aspect of this coaching staff? Do you believe is there? He said, what is one underrated aspect of this coaching staff? Do you believe there is that? Oh, that you believe that hasn't been discussed. I get what you're trying to say. That's an interesting question. What is one underrated? And again, Mitch, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. We do have over 100 in the chat. That's my bad, Jay. Over 100 in the chat.
100.
Hey, it's never as lively as it is in studio. That's why we have to always be in studio.
And we getting there.
Hey, listen, the more you all support, the more sponsors we can get for this, the more we can actually produce high-level content. So we appreciate you all, man. What is one underrated aspect of this coaching staff that hasn't been discussed?
Well, I can start with one. I'll say, as of right now, one that's underrated to me that we finally have on this coaching staff is experience, because we tried the approach of having those who are new in their role, who are the shiny new toy that everybody's talking about, whether it was Matt Nagy and, Andy Reid backing him up and saying that he's the next best offensive genius. Outside of the coach at the Rams, I'm forgetting his name off the what's his name? Los Angeles.
McVay?
What's that?
You say Sean McVay?
Sean McVay, thank you. Yeah, Sean McVay, or it was Luke Getsy, because he was in the same room as Aaron Rodgers. And so now that we're going a different direction with those who actually have experience in their role, what did I miss? Did I miss something?
Every time someone says that he was in the room with Aaron Rodgers, that's exactly what will happen.
He was standing behind the guy that was calling the plays.
He was just in the room. Hey,
he was in the vicinity, so he got that shiny toy glitter on him and stuff. So everybody thought that.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. The one thing I like is the fact that like Mug act like he was like in the room, and then like Tinkerbell just came and then was like, oh well, I'm finna sprinkle this dust on, and then he just got the magic to call plays.
Put this dust on.
Hey, that Packers dust. Yeah, I don't know if that works.
Hey, no, to your point though, JC, that's one thing we did get more experience across the board, realistically. That's a key thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have a staff that we're not going to have any issues with rolling into the first couple of weeks of the season.
Thank goodness.
Eric Washington looks like he's on the straight and narrow there.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And at the same time, Shane is a proven OC, and so we know that. I mean, at this point, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if we were to keep Fields, we know it's now we have everything to say, hey, no, maybe we should have made a decision, a different way. If we stuck with Justin, it doesn't really work out. So I think the one thing that Pose is doing, no matter what direction he goes, he's eliminating excuses. And
there you go.
I think that's I don't want to say it's underrated. It may not be underrated at all. But I don't think it's anything that's heavily discussed. He's eliminating any excuse for us not to have a certain level of success or a benchmark or be competitive. And that's what you really want to see. And I know ultimately Eberflus is a part of those conversations as well. And so I just like how they're building it out. Players have to go play. A lot of things can derail a season, but I think the interesting part of it is, again, we walked in with a lot of question marks, a lot of crutches that we could have held on. Oh, he's new. Oh, he's this. You eliminated all of that. You still have control of the draft. It's a very interesting thing to be a part of. And I just like the professionalism around it all the way around. I feel confident with this group moving forward more than I have in the past.
Yeah, Vito said it best in the chat. Our youngest coaches, Thomas Brown, 37, Jennifer King, who just got hired as the first African-American woman on the Bears, that is. She already actually had experience with the Commanders for 3 years, if I'm not wrong, in the same role as an assistant running backs coach. So you talk about the experience, but you also talk about someone like Thomas Brown, who was also considered for the OC position, having that connection to Shane Waldron back in their Rams days, when they won the championship. So, there's cohesion all over the place, and that's what you love to see, is the Bears are taking a new approach to how they're making this staff and how they're completing this staff and what they want to do going forward to make this organization a success.
Mm-hmm. In the sake of it being still Black History Month, I would say the fact that they've hired a lot of minorities that actually can speak to these players and get on the same level. I think that's an underrated thing that most people really are like. I think it's taboo to talk about, but I think it matters. Mm-hmm. This is a predominantly Black sport in some instances. Some instances this is not like the NBA. So let me not say predominantly, but it's close. It's like you have enough minorities in those roles, and having individuals who can speak to their experience and ultimately help with that development would really get the most out of them. And so I do like the fact that it seems that they considered that as opposed to times in the past. And I know times are changing. We're not going to get on the whole high horse with that one. But just the simple fact that they're conscious of it and they're making concerted efforts to address those things. Apparently, that's what I like. I think that's the most underrated thing. And do we get a comp pick for hiring a woman?
I don't know about that one.
I
think that comp pick comes if Ian Cunningham leaves.
So yeah, that he tried to get me with that one. That's what you tried to do. I see what you tried to do. But moving on to that and keeping it pushing with that one. I would say this. I'm just like Justin. I'm tired of having a conversation, y'all. It's tiring. I'm tired of talking about what they're going to do with Justin and things of that nature. And just hearing him, like I listened to that thing again with Justin, and I'll be honest with you, that's like the worst position to be in if you're young, just as a young adult. Like, let's remove the fact that he's a QB. As a young adult, not really knowing what your future is going to be, it's like, Jesus. Like, I can only imagine having that weight on your shoulders. So, like, him unfollowing and all that stuff, his explanation was now the whole, if you messing with a girl, you don't follow her. I didn't get that part. Maybe I'm too old for that. That explanation was whack.
That's the thing.
That's a thing. You don't follow the person.
You don't follow somebody that you actually like.
That's the thing. Cause you might. This the thing. You might block her or something on IG.
I don't know.
That you might block her or something on IG, but that don't mean you still got.
I don't know. I'm following the person that I actually got an interest in. That's just me though.
I like her, but I don't want to see her on social media.
Maybe that's a new wave. That's right past our prime.
Hey, if
PK.
y'all gotta help me out. Maybe I'm the old head. Like I've been off the market for a
I'm
while.
just
So
telling you
I
how
don't.
the game go.
Hey, dog. I don't know what that means.
King Booker said, "I'm aged out of that lingo." Yeah, I don't kind of get that.
I
But
don't get it. I don't get it. Like,
but you know what? I do appreciate your point about Justin Fields, though. I think that and this goes back to why I'm in the Justin Fields camp. If we were to keep him, I would be more happier. As I've said before, I'm a Bears fan above all. So whatever direction we go in, I just want us to win, right? But the reason why I can appreciate Justin Fields is his leadership and the way he goes about answering and handling himself. So in that podcast, even though to me it was all over the place, them dudes is hilarious. I think that the way he answered it about, the fact that he even unfollowed the NFL. This is his time to kind of relax, kind of reset himself, even though he's not the type of person that takes a long vacation. He said he's been training and he's going to take a few months off to go wherever he's going to go. But he's locked in to making sure he's the best version of himself. And so those are the things that you appreciate, those type of intangibles that come off the field. You can see that he takes his craft seriously. That's what you can appreciate about Justin Fields, which is why, we talked about him being the culture, which is why we've talked about the city, rallying behind him and him being, what Chicago is about. And so, that's why I put my vote in.
Yeah, nah, I definitely look at it as like, I think just going back to the Mike Florio thing, like JC was mentioning, like if they have it in early, I think it's because like they know where they want Justin to be moved, and I feel like it's just a handshake thing at this point. Because to your point, kid, like not knowing where you're gonna be is going to like cause some angst. But at the same time, like he was basically saying like in that pod, like, bro, I'm a still be me. I don't get into all this extra stuff about what's happening. Like I just want to know where I'm going. But in the meantime, like I'm chilling right now. It's the off season. Now to I think Mike Florio's point about the haul that the Bears think that they may be expected to get back. I and this is just me. Do not kill me in the chat. I truly believe I do not think that they're going to get the same haul back where it's just like, oh well, they're gonna get the number one pick again. Like if you were to get the number one pick now, it's essentially almost like you're not going to have another number one pick for the next 3 years. You could bet on it. If you were to get this pick, that's honestly why I don't see them trading the number one pick. I see them doing something with 9 because that historical haul, you're just not gonna get that back.
Honestly, either way, I think they do something with 9 because there's no way that you sit there and say I'm keeping Fields and get him I want to put the best weapons around him and you pass up MHJ. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Now, his neighbor's a good receiver to pair with him. Sure.
Yeah, he not MHJ though.
But he's not MHJ. And so it's no way in the world that you can rhyme that. You can't rhyme and reason that away from me. And I see Crit over here being hypercritical, like Crit being Crit over here. Like, I just want to play better. You right, Crit.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
hey, you right. Yeah. I want to play better too. But I also want our organization to do right regardless. Like if you're going to keep him, don't sit there and play around and get too cute with all of these things. Get the best. Don't sit there and take all these unnecessary chances with somebody who may work out, And I know these kids are not guaranteed, but I want to be able to say that, hey, you at least put forth the effort to get the best available in this draft. Don't mess around with that. You're going to move on from Justin. Make sure it's for one of the best available in this draft.
Real quick.
I think Jaden Daniels, to me, has proven enough to be considered that. And actually, that's something I want to talk about before we get into some Jerry Reinsdorf comments. That man,
oh Lord, have mercy,
that man right there. I'm dreading this conversation, but I think it's necessary because a lot of people in the Discord. By the way, if you are new to this channel, we do have a Discord. It does be busting. A lot of you all support that. I will clap it up, you all. Go ahead, join that.
Let's go.
But at the end of the day, like seriously, like just do it, because there's no team that absolutely, like, every team that really needs a quarterback is in a prime position to get one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's about 4 or 5 quarterbacks that are coming out of this draft that people are saying are going to be good. This is not
Can I
last year's
ask y'all
draft.
a question? Like
It's
that,
not
like
last year's draft. Like, this ain't just a Anthony Richardson. Like, there's gonna be an Anthony Richardson in this draft. What I mean by that is there's gonna be some kid, and it's probably already happening, that's gonna throw the ball and like hit the ceiling again, and it's gonna rise up. Like be for real. It's a lot of QBs. This is considered a historic QB draft by the amount of talent that's there, no matter how high you rank them. So there's no real pressure like it was last season to make these absolute jumps. Like, trade back to 2. Like, what? Like, they don't need to trade up. They just don't.
So
but
let me.
It just is what it is. Go ahead. What was your question, bro?
Yeah, I wanted to ask this question because I really wanted to get y'all thoughts on this. How? So this is my thing, right? How close? Like, give me a percentage. How close do you think this Bears roster is actually? How close?
Competitive,
how,
like
how,
at a high level.
What is the
Super Bowl?
percentage?
That's high.
Yeah. Like, how close do you think the Bears are to actually completing the roster? That's the question. Like, get like percentage wise, because I legit think it's about. I think it's at about 70.
I mean,
Like,
I can see that. I mean,
ahead,
you got the. So I would more so look at it like not from percentage wise, but the most important positions to address. Like, if you got about maybe 4 or 5 positions that you really need to address to strengthen this team to really maximize the potential. We have to replace Eddie Jackson at safety. We have to make sure we shore up that cornerback and giving Jalen Johnson a contract. We have to get a 3 technique.
Yeah.
We have to get another edge rusher to complement Montez Sweat, whether that be in free agency or the draft. So that's about 3 or 4 right there. Then obviously the line is the most important with center and left. I think left tackle. I think we can upgrade Braxton Jones immediately and have him as a serviceable backup. But I think that's about 5 or 6. So you're probably 6 or 7 positions away. Oh yeah, and also another wide receiver that you can rely on outside of DJ Moore. So yeah, I'd say 60-40 probably.
I like the comment by King Book. A center goes a long way. Having a good center goes a long way. Get another receiver, another target, that puts us up there, which I think we're gonna do. Making sure we keep Jalen Johnson, I think that's something that's going to happen. That's cool. I like our running back room if we can maintain it. I would say that we are about 75% there if we can make those particular moves. And I will say that, looking through it all historically, teams have had success or winning seasons with less than what we have
now.
And
because then the next thing is just once you get all that talent in the building, then continuity and experience
and coaching.
Once and coach. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, that actually that's the biggest one is your coaching staff. So we got that taken care of supposedly.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. If we're talking about having a player that can, definitely take the team over the top, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We've seen. I understand that there hasn't been a what's the statistic that receiver taking number 1 has never won a Super Bowl, something like that.
Yeah.
So whatever that rumor is, something around that. The facts around that are a little iffy for me, but I believe that's the narrative. But we've seen those receivers completely change your organization. So if you're going to keep Justin, you make sure you get that receiver, and I can pretty much say we're going to be a playoff team. Which we haven't definitively been a playoff team since Mitch, realistically. So, like,
the reason why I brought that up is because, like, I've been thinking about this like the last couple of days, well, I've been sick, I had a cold and everything, but like my thing is this, because we talk about CJ and like he came into this opportunity and like he just balled out, and you get these anomalies, right? If you take Caleb number 1 and your guys' thought process is, oh, well, this roster is 70 to 75% done, he would be the only number 1 pick that I know in recent memory that will have like a almost dang near complete roster. A complete roster around him to go ball. So that's the only reason why, in my opinion, I would take Caleb over Justin. Not saying I don't like Justin. I'll fool with Justin a lot, but Caleb would come into a ready-made situation because you also got to think, even if you do bring Justin back, this would be what, his fourth coordinator?
Third.
Or third coordinator? Like, I mean, that's a lot.
Third.
That's a lot.
It is. And I'm with you on that. And that's really been one of my things. It's not just everyone uses the phrase reset the QB clock and stuff like that. And that is true. That's not even like
that's true. And I thought about that, but I was also thinking of like, what number one pick do you know that was ready made that came into like this type of situation?
Number one, none. Not that I can remember. I would say,
not that I can think of.
I would say this would be a situation like this is the closest we would get to a situation where we could replicate what happened with Patrick Mahomes, maybe even Lamar Jackson, because those teams were kind of already built. Good coaching allowed them to make adjustments for Lamar and things of that nature. So I don't want to take that away. It definitely was good coaching, but that team in itself wasn't a scrub of a team.
But look at where they drafted. They, usually those ready-made teams are not at the top of the draft because they're the ones that are technically fringe playoff teams or Super Bowl contenders.
Showing you they can do it. It's Paul's. To this point.
I agree. I think they're going in the right direction. But just like somebody else said, I can't remember. It was a comment just a few seconds ago that said that if you do take the number one quarterback with number one, which to your point, P. Kid, how many quarterbacks going number one has actually been successful in the NFL versus the other ones that were taken after them? We could talk about Mitch and Deshaun, Dan Patrick.
Well, out of the 25 that was taken number one overall in the last years, I think 11 of them are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson just won 2 MVPs in the last 3 seasons.
There have been a considerable number of successful number one picks.
No, absolutely, but sure. I mean more so than not. You're talking about hitting it, a missing versus hitting on that specific position at number one. So for me, like one of the chat said, I would personally keep Justin because perhaps when you bring that quarterback in. Now you have to get the culture back set again with him getting in tune with all the other players who are used to another quarterback. So does that regress the team, or does that regress their improvement to a certain degree? Like if we get Caleb has to come in here on dummy.
I love the trade scenario, and it's amazing how we said we were tired of the conversation and dove right into this conversation. Which, by the way, before we make a transition,
that was my bad. I'm joking.
No, it's cool.
But the only reason why I brought it up is because it's like either way. Because to Jay-Z's point, what he just said, right? Caleb has to come in on dummy. Justin got to come in on dummy too. Like either way, both QBs got to come. Like you got to come out hot.
Like I think
you got to come out hot. So
we are going to continue this conversation, but we do got to pay some bills. I want to make sure we get this out there. So hey, please take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold.
You know, we are back. Hey, that music was kind of fire. Shout out to Joe for that commercial too.
Bro, every time that comes on, I'm just.
It reminds me of that
Man.
old Sonic game on Sega Saturn. I don't know if y'all remember.
Oh my God,
Sega! It was a certain board on this on a Sonic game that was like, it was a 3D Sonic and it was like real chill. I forgot the actual game of it, but it's like reminded me of that one. So anyway, I just showed my age right there.
Good
but
times, good
back
times.
into this conversation, absolutely good times, man. Getting back into this conversation, JC, the question you asked, just restate it for me real quick, just so that everyone knows what we're talking about.
No, I think that was on Ringo. I was more so making the explanation of one of the people in the chat saying that, you know, would we regress if we picked Caleb Williams or any other quarterback to come in here as a rookie? Would we take a step back as far as the progression of everybody kind of being on the same page already? I know Dougie Deuce, he mentioned too that, you know, that culture matters. That's what I meant about, you know, tangibles off the field, about having that cohesion with your players and people that actually like playing with you. Like that actually is part of, you know, the chemistry on the team. And so Justin already has that. And so when we bring somebody in a pivotal offseason like this, I said Caleb just has to be on dummy. If we're going with the rookie quarterback or Jaden for that matter, they have to really hit the ground running, in my opinion, with this team to take off.
Imagine being able to pick the number 1 overall or anyone within the top 10 and have another top 10 pick while being a 7-win team with most of your team already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey,
it's not gonna be done again. But even to that point, like Jason,
I like your confidence, Smitty.
Justin Fields is the dog. Caleb Williams is the dog. Either way, we go to. I mean, listen, they're going to have to either way you slice it. Justin got to go dummy. Caleb got to go dummy because listen, jobs are on the line. Jobs are on the line, bro. So I mean, it was just my 2 cents. I ain't trying to drudge up the debate for like that much longer because I know we talked about this already. But that's just if the team is 70% complete, like everybody feels like it is or it's close. Take it.
The one thing I love about
I'm sorry, I have to do the super. I have to do
where it go?
He put it in the chat. Justin, you get Saquon Barkley championship.
Hey man,
where's my GM?
Hey, get Saquon too.
Or we do this too. You know, hey. Either way, we
put our stock to money and savings bonds. Not just
the funny thing about it is, the longer the conversation exists, the one thing I do like is the fact is that fan base is becoming less toxic. Because there was a point in time, especially like 2 months ago, if you said, "Man, I could see the Bears moving off of Justin Fields," you almost got killed. Like, hey, listen, I had people sitting and saying, "You a Bears hater? You never liked Justin." I was like, "Where did you get that from?
Like, where'd you go find this?
Why'd you go with that line? Like, why I gotta be all that?" Like,
I think at the time you was like heavy on like resetting the market.
I was heavy on understanding the logistics behind it all.
Like that's the reason why I think that they were saying
everybody was like, "We got to keep him." I'm like, I ain't seen enough to keep him. I saw us battle half the season with him competing with the D2 quarterback, and I ain't like.
We got a lot of super chats coming in.
You know, I was not feeling the whole my number one QB is compared to a D2 quarterback with no, like, I ain't like it.
We got a Martin Luther King up in here. He got a dream. He had a dream.
Give the man some protein. I'm not saying I want to get rid of Justin, but I had a dream. Trade number 1 the Commanders, get the Hall, take MHJ and trade 9 and Justin for Jaden Daniels. Give the man some protein.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Blaze. I thank you for supporting it. I'm gonna be honest.
Appreciate you, bro.
This is not against what you're saying because, again, everyone's opinion is valued here. I just personally don't see them giving up a haul for it. Like, I'm not giving up a haul for Caleb if I have another Heisman winning quarterback that I could get. And excuse me, if I don't like him either, I have another like really highly rated quarterback. If I don't really like them, I can, potentially change and go JJ McCarthy, who, I mean, didn't he just win a championship?
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why.
Hey, Buddy's stats is legit.
Hey.
You getting on the JJ McCarthy
I'm telling
train
y'all
now?
this right now.
Listen.
I'm
No, he's
right
not
on Penix. JJ McCarthy he's not that guy right now. He's not that guy right now. I don't know. Just because they won tonight, that was Blake Corum's. That was Blake Corum's and that defense's team. Like they I'm not saying that JJ McCarthy JJ didn't do his thing, because
he did his thing. I'm not. They also ran a lot of screens for that man. I ain't gonna lie. But I will say this.
I'm telling you, just temper your expectations on JJ a little bit.
Hey, Bo Nix, who I thought was definitely, that showed you how much college tape I watched at the time. I thought Bo Nix was Hispanic. I'm not gonna lie.
You did say that.
Oh wow.
Hey, this was months ago. I just want to be transparent with the chat. I thought he was Hispanic because the name Bo Nix didn't sound white at all to me.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
I didn't watch him. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't watch him. But Buddy, I've been watching him lately. I don't know. Bo Nix may not be as much of a scrub as people say. Shout out to Chandler, by the way. The Bears owe it to Fields because 2 out of 3 years he played with terrible O-lines. You need time to make plays. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying too. I'm with you 110%. I don't know what just happened to my restream. My restream is bugging. Am I here? Am I still here?
Yeah.
You're here.
Jesus,
we see you. We hear you.
The whole thing on my end looks weird. Okay. All right. Restream being restream.
You good.
Hey, listen, if I fall out, y'all take over.
We good. Yeah, we got you. We got you back.
That being said, I do want to do this before we get into the last statement, because I don't want to spend too much time killing Jerry, because I don't mean that literally. I mean like talking about his statements. ESPN Plus, they had I forgot this man's last name, but a writer from there did put out a comparison. He did a pro comp. Now, obviously, this is another reference. This is not anybody on the breeze saying that this is who we think they will be or who they are. We're just being honest about what's being reported. This report pretty much had, and JC had a lot to talk about. He almost assaulted me in our group chat, by the way.
I don't know why you keep
you saw how mad he got when I was he was like, no, go back and watch the Zach Wilson tape. It's on par. It's on par with Caleb Williams.
I'm
like,
what are
you talking? Said, like, what the heck is happening right now?
I wasn't angry, y'all.
It's almost like I
don't believe him, Dan Tanner. I'm
like, hey,
flag for assault. Get out of here, Joe.
It's not. Just I gave valid point.
On, man.
Hey, so
somebody got to be on my side.
We're not. We ain't nobody on your side today, because I mean, you was hella aggressive in there. I mean, I don't know if I can say that word, but anyway,
aggressive last week. You was aggressive.
That's hilarious.
But the one comp I saw, and I thought it was fitting considering what his attitude is. He had Caleb Williams pro comp being Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, I'm like, hey, Craig, I had to go back and I'm like, it's no way we watched the same tape.
He said he had Caleb Williams.
Jay Crit, don't believe nothing they saying. Don't believe nothing. Of course, I'm watching football, you know. and this ain't a discredit to what they're saying. Whoever said that Caleb Williams is compared to Aaron Rodgers needs to go sit down somewhere.
I think it was more of an attitude thing, not necessarily because Aaron Rodgers has an off-putting attitude, but he wins.
That's all well and good, but what the pro player comp means, that's how you play on the field too. Like Aaron Rodgers, that man don't play like Aaron Rodgers.
They had Drake May as Herbert.
I can see that more.
No.
They had Jaden Daniels as Lamar Jackson, which
no.
I saw a little bit. I can understand it. I can see a little bit.
Who is behind these?
Hey, listen, dog. Hey, listen. I didn't make the list. I promise you all, if you all look it up, pro player comp ESPN. It's an ESPN Plus article, so you have to pay for it if you don't have that subscription.
Well, you know what? I can't get mad because somebody else compared. I looked up something when I did my player draft breakdown about Caleb. They said he was a smaller Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, if you're going to go all the way to the mountaintop, whatever.
Hey, he's getting a lot of that comp. The one I thought was interesting was the Jaden Daniels one being compared to Lamar Jackson.
To Lamar.
I'm like, I don't know. I looked at Caleb's tape. Amazing tape. I'm not gonna lie. He's clearly, there is a level. He clearly is that, but there are a lot of questions about fit, personality, and stuff like that. That, you know, ultimately, I'm like, hey man, listen, Chicago.
No.
The only thing,
the whole point of it being called a pro player comparison is they're comparing them to the pro version of these players. That's why it's called pro player comparison. I just wanted to make that clear. He's saying they're not comparing them to the college Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna let you go back and forth with him on that because
no, that's my guy. You know that's why I gotta go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
JC's right.
It wouldn't be called pro player comparison.
JC's right. It's like if somebody was in the NBA and somebody was like, well, Bronny plays like.
Bronny's trash, but anyway.
But it was that was just random.
I'm sorry. You said Bronny.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
I was just trying to make an example.
I mean, a bad example.
Then P Kid made an example out of him.
Hey, listen. Hey, he is not. Gilbert Arenas said Donovan Mitchell. I'm like, where?
No.
I'm like, where?
Not at all.
Kid ain't got that.
Not even in college.
Hey, listen, he better be glad his last name James.
Not even in college. He should stay another year. But
hey, listen, if y'all ride with the whole Bronny James thing, we ain't going into that. Anyway, moving on.
I'd rather talk about Jerry now.
Hey, listen, I definitely want to talk about Jerry. I have to say this because I've never seen a billionaire. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't understand this, but here's a statement by Jerry that I think is the, how do I say this nicely? There's serious implications for two franchises here. Obviously, we know the White Sox are in a very interesting predicament, but here's a direct quote from him. It says the economics of baseball have completely changed with top baseball players signing contracts worth $700 million. Reinsdorf said, at the location we're at now, mind you, they're in Bridgeport, we cannot generate the revenue needed to pay those salaries. Referring to the team's heavily residential Bridgeport home, a new space in a livelier downtown area with shops, bars, and other restaurant and entertainment venues, but then walking distance should do better, he contends. Reinsdorf denied that the real problem is poor performance by his team, even after winning the World Series in 2005. We didn't crack the 3 million attendance mark, something that series winners routinely accomplish. Let me ask you all this. When's the last time that we've associated the White Sox with being routine series winning a series winning team routinely? When have we said that they've been a winning team on a constant basis?
I just don't feel comfortable talking about the ops on the show, but
this man.
I'm just joking, but I mean, never.
Here's the thing. Never. You all know, White Sox, right? Who cares? Here's why you should care. I'm gonna tell you why you should care. This is Jerry's ideology for the White Sox. And we also see that he takes no responsibility for the fact that he has not put enough investment into the team or the players on a consistent basis for them to be a serious contender. To be honest with you, if he had did that first, which is always a risk, I want people not to think of it from their actual pocket, but think of it from an investment standpoint. And Joe actually does agree with him, but it does take two. You have to be able to put you have to be able to actually justify it by showing that you are willing to make that type of investment, something that we have never seen him really do. Unfortunately, that plays across two different teams. We've also had that same statement about Jerry Reinsdorf when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, which I'm be honest with you. I mean, listen, yes, he paid Derrick Rose, understood, but at the same time, he's United Center. You had to pay Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Like it was you had to pay Derrick Rose.
Like,
That's
bro, the United Center in the 20, bro. Come on, bro.
Everybody, first of all, I just want to acknowledge the chat, man. Don't leave us because this is legitimate discussion about the White Sox and the reason why we're so fed up with them. We're not trying to talk baseball all the time, but I mean, it is a good conversation to have.
It's only a good conversation to have, and you see, we saved it for the last 5 minutes of the show. So for this point, all 150 yard have rocked with us on a consistent basis because this was one of those mid shows. Because I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of news out there yet, and we know toward the end of the week that's what happens. And all that stuff.
You talking trash? I just want to let you know, 100 losses is still 100 losses.
100 losses, still 100 losses. I will say this: the Cubs at one point didn't have a whole
Dark
lot.
Man, that's how you feel, baby. That's how you feel. Fly that W, baby.
The Cubs didn't have a whole lot around them at one point, and they built that area up. And slowly but surely, the Cubs and that organization, they've made investments to actually get more out of it. If you've been around, and I lived on the north side, I remember what Wrigleyville looked like before they made some of this investment.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, they did have some winning seasons, but it wasn't too long after Sammy Sosa and that run that they had there that the White Sox were actually in the World Series. So the separation of that was like 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm being honest, the prime location of where it is. And now here's the thing: do I think they need a new stadium? Yes, I do think he needs a new stadium. Do I think his reasoning behind it is justified? No.
I mean, look at Joe Holt's. Shout out to Joe. Same owner, same problems. I mean, you said it best. He's over 2 organizations that there's always an issue with paying big contracts or making sure you don't go over the luxury tax or whatever the case. Like, he's never been a guy that wants to throw out and shell out money for the big names or to make sure that the team stays successful. Like, from my example is, you go back to when Rick Hahn was the GM. They had a very open window to being a winning team when you had all of these players on their team. I can't remember every single one, but I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago, the Sox were extremely talented on paper and on the field. You decided you wanted to do the buddy thing and not let Rick Hahn do his job and bring in your buddy Tony La Russa because of some failed relationship that happened in the past with him and Herb or Harold, whatever his name is, Hawk Harrelson. And now you felt like that was like your get back. So hey, let me bring my buddy in, let him be over there. That right there was the worst decision you could have had for this team, because I think that they would have been a championship contender for a few years in that window. Now it's just completely falling off. So you can't blame people supporting you or revenue coming in and then think that, okay, you just go to another nice location and that somehow you're going to get away from still losing 100 games. The product on the field still matters more.
I was just going to point out that, bro, a couple of years ago, I mean, they absolutely, like, you talk about from top to bottom, like them having them having the rosters to absolutely contend and possibly win. I mean, you had your leadoff guy, you had your middle of the lineup guy in Abreu, and they literally had all the pitchers. They had everything, and it's like literally in a span of 3 years over a personal beef, like. You just decided to strip all that away, but literally, like, just hearing you say that, like makes me think of like how Jerry Jones like won't get out of his own way. Like
Jerry Jones doesn't get out of his own way, but Jerry Jones has one of the most infamous lines I've ever heard. My hand doesn't cramp when I'm writing checks. Jerry Jones will buy his way out of the situation.
Yeah, I was just talking about in that aspect of the whole personal thing, because he won't let his son, fully take over and control the Cowboys so he can make decisions to do what they got to do. But
yeah,
I mean, at the very least, the Cowboys have been competitive. On a consistent basis, the Cowboys have been. We joke about them not winning.
Competitive in the regular season, not competitive when they need to be.
True, but at least they make it there. Like, they are in the conversation. Like, okay. I don't think anyone for the next couple of years are going to say the Cowboys may not be a playoff team. Like, we're going to say, yeah, they may make the playoffs. Now, will they get out the first?
They always
win a first playoff game.
They always get there.
they ain't gonna win their first game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like they're gonna get there, right? And it's like we in a situation now. It's like, can we get there consistently? Let's get there. Like I think a lot of us would love to trade with them. Like let's get there and have to worry about can we get further in the
but they've
playoffs.
been getting there for years.
Yeah.
They've been getting there for years, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, it's just like I think the biggest thing, the only reason I wanted to end on this is because Jerry. This is the first time I'm saying it because I've never really agreed with the whole sell the team narrative. Jerry, sell the teams.
He ain't gonna do that.
No.
Jerry, it's about time. You 87 years old. Michael is going to be well off. Hey, listen, at least sell the White Sox. Do something because I think ultimately he may not be in the best position to say that. And ultimately, like I think he's also trying to say something that he really can't say is, hey, we're in an area that it's a lot of black people over there. That's what it says. I'm not saying that. I'm just joking on that one. Hey, JC Face, like, did he say that? It's like, no.
You got a point.
Ultimately, I will say this: whether or not we see him actually sell the team or not, prepare to have a very long stretch of mid White Sox games, and unfortunately, by default, probably really mid Chicago Bulls.
Well,
game.
that's already happening. Yeah.
Hey, all right, fellas. That's it for me, dog. Hey, listen, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. We know that the White Sox, the Bulls, it doesn't do anything for this channel anymore.
Even the Cubs.
You've always told us that, hey, we're a Bears channel at this point. That's all we probably talk about at this point. Until something else shakes. But tomorrow you'll get the crew. I think everyone will be back. Hopefully, Pat and everything in that situation goes well. If not, you'll see us
Jay
back
Quinn,
here
you
as
trying to wipe my bank account, man? What's going on?
well, you'll see us here as well. But we appreciate all of you all who have subbed, all you all who watch. We appreciate you all.
Yeah.
Bulls are about to play in just a second, so let's go tune into that one. You will see more content on the Chicago Bears Breeze from my man JC. You will see more content from me on Chicago Bulls Breeze and P Kid Talks NBA. And we might be, we're still trying to talk this out, but I heard about these live calls. I don't know, but somebody might be doing that over there. He's rubbing his hands like Birdman a little bit over there.
Uh-oh.
You know, he's rubbing his hands like
we
Birdman.
back at it?
But by the way, Pat is not involved with that at all. Got to say that for legal purposes. All right, you all.
Yeah.
We'll see you all later.